Welcome back to the Origin of the Maker podcast. I am DLC, and today I'm here with Bio Cosplay. He's a maker, first place champion in the FX category in C2E2 2019. What's going on, man? Welcome.
Hello. How are you? Thanks for having me on the podcast.
Yeah. So, like I say, I'm going to try to be professional this time. We were watching the costume contest in our suite, and when you came up for the effects category, it was you holding your cat, making like the weirdest fucking face.
Yeah,
I was like, "That's Sam." It was
that's
hilarious.
me, all right. Me and my cat.
That was hilarious.
I was like, for the contest, I need a new headshot because I
Uh,
can't just reuse the same cat picture that I used last year. So,
just do
for the
just do bat cat, like cat hanging
that
over
would be
your
pretty
face.
good. So for the full effect, I got out a big cardboard box, and me and Porchy, that's my cat's name, we sat in the box, and my wife took pictures of us.
That's awesome. Yeah, you won first place the effects category with your badass troll.
Yeah,
It's awesome. You want to walk me
thank
through
you.
the process of how the hell you did that?
Just the whole troll process. Yeah, I can
Yeah,
I can do that.
the
Um,
the cosplay troll process, not the troll process.
Yeah. So, originally I started the troll mainly because the Egg Sisters, which you probably know, they also
Yeah,
had a troll at C2E2.
yeah, I saw him. It's pretty
They
badass.
they last year at C2E2 asked me if I wanted to make a Zandalari troll with them, and they brought this troll foot that they had made to C2E2 with them, and they were like, if the troll foot fits, you got to make a troll. And so I wedged my foot in there, and it did fit technically.
The
But
foot fit.
I was like, all right, I'll make a troll. Um, I haven't done any effect stuff before that, so I wasn't really sure how I was gonna go about doing it. So we kind of just like watched some videos from the Stan Winston School. They have a lot of good stuff on like sculpting and things of
Yeah,
that nature. So to start out for the sculpt of the face and whatnot, I had to get a life cast, and for that, my wife did most of the work there. She put silicone on my face. She used smooth on body double silk. I think there's a few different ones you can use, but that's the one we went with. We read
nice.
like it releases easy and it doesn't pull out hair or anything, so you don't have to like put Vaseline on your eyes or
Yeah, that would hurt,
yeah. So
especially get a moderately big beard like I do.
right,
Trying to
right.
peel that out, oh, that'd be horrible.
Yeah, I've seen some videos where with the body double silk you can put it over a beard and it comes off relatively easily. So
I don't ever really plan on ever doing a life cast because I don't trust anybody that well to do a life cast on me.
right, yeah. It's like the important part is just like keeping your nose clear.
Yeah,
We just did the face, so it wasn't like a huge risk of any complications, but basically I just got my face slathered in the silicone and just like kept the nose holes clear, and then plaster bandages were put on over that, and then you just have to wait for it to cure, which takes a while. Um,
yeah. I helped. Well, my apprentice was trying to do a life cast on his friend. He was doing a helmet sculpt for,
mhm.
and we were using some smooth on product. I don't remember exactly what it was called, but it was really humid outside, and before we knew it, it was already solidifying, and he looked like a giant burn across his fucking
Oh
head,
no.
just like pustulous, mutated burn, just right there. I was like, well, we unintentionally made a prosthetic, so here you go.
Yeah, it's
Went another route. That was a very long, messy day of mistakes until I finally talked him into doing it the really easy way, which is basically just not even use silicone, just use plaster bandage across the face and just pull it off. And you still kind of got like a
right.
somewhat of a detailed mold. If you're just doing like sculpting, like for like helmets, it'd be perfect because you
Right.
lay in fiberglass, pull that out, and voila, you're done. And that's what we did. But it's like for the life of me, we could not get the silicone to work. It was horrible.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes that's the only way to learn is just messing things up.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So, yeah, and then we did the same thing for my ears. And then after that, to get like the final life cast, we used UltraCal, I think. It's either Hydrocal or UltraCal. I'm pretty sure it was UltraCal. I don't know the differences in them. They're both gypsum cements of some sort. I haven't used them enough to know the exact differences, but I think one's softer.
Yeah, I think the common is hydrocal is commonly used.
Yeah. Um, and that's something that I messed up a few times. 'Cause the way you mix it is kind of particular, I guess. You put an amount of the powdered material in a bucket or whatever you're gonna mix it in, and then you add water until it gets to like a dry riverbedish consistency.
Mm.
But it absorbs way more water than you think it's going to, like way more. And then if you put too much in, it heats up really quick and just solidifies super quick. It was a mess.
I,
It
you
was a
know,
mess.
I
So
can only imagine.
then the sculpting of the face itself, I used monster clay and just like some wooden tools and whatnot,
Yeah,
and that was
monster
pretty
clay is
fun.
awesome. I've got a big bucket sitting over there, probably like a half-gallon bucket just full of monster clay. I need to
Yeah,
I need to use it more, but you know, it's time.
right. Yeah, it's pretty easy to use. You don't have to like cover it or anything after like with wet clays or anything. It can just sit out forever because it's just like oil based. So yeah, it's pretty easy and convenient to use. And I had a lot of fun sculpting, even though it was my first time doing it, and I think it came out okay. Um,
I think it came out a little bit more than okay. It looked fucking,
yeah,
it looked badass, dude. I'm not
thank
gonna
you.
lie. Because with the Egg Sisters, and uh, Brittany Ganoza,
Mhm.
like you guys did all trolls, and it was just the the trio badassery.
Right, yeah, it was really cool getting together with them and just hanging out for a bit and letting people take our photos and stuff because
Yeah,
we hadn't seen Britney's troll yet, so that
that
was cool.
was. Yeah, I saw it up close when she was still working on it, like right before when she finally got it done. Put it all came down to the floor. We were hanging out and we saw her. I was like, "Oh, there's Brittany. We're gonna go say hi and check out the ungodly amount of detail that was in her costume."
Right, yeah, her armor's always super good and the painting is awesome.
Yeah, I'm gonna see her again here in a couple months. She's coming to town for a con, so I'm gonna go hang out with her, do a
Cool,
podcast.
cool. Yeah, I saw she's doing a lot of like Borderlands stuff
Yeah,
recently because they announced Borderlands 3, so it's looking
that's
pretty cool, all the stuff she's working on.
that's all you're gonna see for the next couple months on any
Right,
prop pages. Borderlands,
right,
Borderlands. Oh, there's some Fallout. Borderlands,
right.
which is odd. It's cool. I'm not a Borderlands fan, so I'm not as hyped for it. But the stuff I'm seeing my friends make already is just badass.
Yeah, I mean, I like Borderlands. I haven't made anything from it yet, so I don't know if I will or not. I haven't really decided yet.
Maybe one day, but my build list is already too long,
Yeah, right.
and I've
It's
already
always
it's got a. Did you know you play a video game and you're like, oh, I want to make that. Oh, I want to make that. I want to make that. Then the next thing you
yep,
know, you got 50
yep.
items from one game you want to make. Then you go play another game and you got another 50. Then, oh, a new game's coming out I'm looking forward to. And you see and stuff. It's like, I'm going to be so damn busy. I'm not going to have time to do anything.
Right.
Because you got, just a little caveat coming out. We got Cyberpunk 2077 coming out.
Hmm.
We got a new game from Obsidian. It's called the Outer Worlds coming out. I think that's what it's called.
Um,
And they're the people. They're the people who made Fallout New Vegas.
oh yeah, yeah. I
So
don't remember what it's called, but yeah, I saw
I think it's called the
the
Outer
video.
Worlds. It's the trailer looks awesome. It's like two more games I'm gonna play that I'm gonna make stuff from. I'm gonna have to like start whittling down my list of shit that I know I'll be able to get done in time.
Right.
Especially 'cause gotta get stuff done for Dragon Con and cons here in town and
The list just grows.
grows and grows and grows. on top of like updating costumes because I'm big on that because I'm on my third iteration of two Fallout costumes and I did a cyberpunk for C2E2, so I'm going to be upgrading that costume and building more stuff for it.
Right. Yeah, I don't normally like to go back to costumes. Like when I'm done with it, I just like to be done with it, and then I have no motivation to touch it ever again. Like the first time I wore the troll was for BlizzCon, and I knew there were some things I wanted to fix on it and add just couple small things to it for C2E2 for the contest, and I was like, I don't want to work on it again. I already finished that costume.
Because you had a lot of work into that. I've watched your progress over the course of you building it, and besides the face sculpting and the sculpting of the ears and the wig, and you did a whole bodysuit. You did prosthetic hands and feet and props for it, and all this other stuff you had to do.
Yeah, the stuff that took the longest was like the muscle suit and the hands and feet. That was I mean, I guess the face took about just as long, but it didn't feel like as much work because the muscle suit, I'd never done that before either. So, and it was a bit more complicated than I thought, I guess. I followed Stephen K. Smith's orc build and kind of like scaled down what he did to make the troll because he made that giant muscle suit for the orc.
Good
And
old,
that was
good old Steve making giant costumes.
right.
I was hanging out with Steve at C2E2. He was rooming with us, and
Cool.
I was like, because he had his samples of HD foam that he was showing around,
Right.
and I was like, saw you walking around. I was like, surprised. Like, did you get a chance to talk to Steve at all?
Just very briefly, like after the contest when we were walking back to the room and we ran into you and some other people that were in the lobby there. That's the only chance I got to talk to him.
Oh yeah, that's right. My
Yeah.
I saw the video not too long ago. My apprentice was beer bonging champagne out of a skull bong.
Yep.
Right there. You're just like this, looking, watching him, standing upright because I'm pretty sure you're slowly dying inside.
Oh yeah, it's hot in there. That
I can only
muscle
imagine.
suit is so hot. Um, there were probably better types of foam to use
What?
that would have been more breathable. I just used, I guess, upholstery foam. It was just from like an old mattress topper that we had, and I was like, I'm gonna save that. I'll need it one day for a costume. And then I did.
Yeah.
So yeah, just like all the individual muscles were just carved out of this 2-inch thick upholstery foam, and then glued to like a compression shirt with I think it was Super 74 adhesive spray.
So not only were you in a bodysuit, you're in a compressed bodysuit.
Yeah.
So I can only imagine how hot that'd be. I'd want to die after an hour.
I did have a cooling vest on
There you
underneath
go.
it, but
I
it
needed to
doesn't
invest in one of
last
those.
super long.
Yeah, I know I talked about this before in a podcast, but at Dragon Con was my first year, and I took my leather Fallout NCR Ranger armor with me, and I wasn't staying in a host hotel, and it was hot that day because we were going to the Prop Tart meetup, and I'm wearing my armor, I got my duster on, I got my leather gauntlets, I'm carrying my helmet, and it's tight, and it's hot. we get we get into the hotel. There's no AC working in the hotel. It's like it's hot. I'm dying. I'm dying.
Yeah, costumes are rough sometimes. I don't remember the name of the one I got, but it works really well um, for the duration that it's frozen, at least. After that, there's not much you can do.
Yeah, but you're in
Um,
that all day though.
yeah, it was whatever the chemical that's in the like ice packets. You can freeze it in like just a sink of ice. Like when we were at C2E2, it melted when went to pre-judging, and then we came back to the room and we put it in the fridge for a bit, and it wasn't really freezing enough.
Oh
So
no.
then one of my friends went to the ice machine and got some buckets of ice, and we put it in the sink with ice, and it froze in like 5 minutes.
That's awesome.
It was like, that's super cool. So yeah, it worked really well. I'll have to find the link for that and show you which one I got. It wasn't too expensive either. I think it was like $100 or something like
That's
that.
not bad. I do need to invest one because if I want to wear my Ranger armor again, I'm gonna need one. Because wearing leather armor when you're a slightly bigger dude and you just happen to make it just a little bit too small, it gets kind of hot.
Especially at cons like Dragon Con, it's so hot in
Yeah.
Georgia. So hot.
Yeah, even in my Adam Cats, I was wearing a faux leather jacket going to the Fallout meetup out back on the stairs, and it was burning up. Like legit, I was like, so I was, I went to, did the photo shoot, did the whole thing, different groups, blah, blah, blah. So I was still sweating, so I was like, all right, everybody, I'm going to go inside, and I'll be back. I'm going to go cool down. And it was in the back of the Hyatt, so I went downstairs, the bottom level where they're doing podcasts and panels and stuff. Found a little corner. There was a chair, so I just sat down, relaxed for a minute, took my jacket off, put everything on the table next to me, and it was like, I fell asleep because it was really cold down there, so it felt really nice. And I was still burning up, so I felt really good. But when I woke up like 10, 15 minutes later, I was really cold because I didn't realize how much I had sweat because I was so hot.
Wow.
I was like, ooh, I'm cold. I'm also wet because I'm sweating, and I know I need a shower, which was going to happen fairly soon after. But I was like, I put my jacket back on and went back outside. I was like, okay, this is bearable for right now. I'm cold. Everybody's sweaty anyway, so nobody's going to smell me.
You just wake up like, where am I? Why am I cold and wet? What is this?
The small 2 seconds of, oh yeah, wait, I'm in Atlanta. Okay. So yeah, from starting your costume, having the Egg Sisters trick you into doing it, more or less, to finishing it to make it look badass, to winning the effects category in the C2E2 contest. How are you gonna top that one, Sam? I want to know.
Oh gosh, I don't know. I haven't really decided what to do next. I mean, I know I want to sculpt something again, just because I had a lot of fun with it. And yeah, I don't know. I've considered doing an Abe Sapien costume from Hellboy,
Nice.
but I haven't committed to that yet or said I'm gonna do it yet. Because as soon as you say something that you're gonna make something, then everyone's always like, "Why haven't you made this yet?" I'm like, I don't know.
Don't say you're gonna do it because this is going on the internet later.
Right, it's too late. I already mentioned it.
They say you're considering and making it are two different things. Two different things.
Yeah, the only con I'm planning on going to next for sure, I think, is BlizzCon. Um, we've gone to that and stayed with the Egg Sisters the past 2 years, and that's always been fun. It's always great hanging out with the eggs,
Yeah.
because the stuff they do is awesome, and it's always inspiring to see what they're making. So
Where is BlizzCon held? Isn't it in like San Jose, California, or something like that?
it's in Anaheim.
Oh, Anaheim. That was close.
Yeah, close enough.
Close enough. Yeah, because my friend went last year. HDC Cosplay or HDC Fabrication now.
Yeah,
Sorry, Tim. Because he was doing the Project Emblade. He did the variant.
yeah.
And he was out there. And I know my buddy Bjorn from Bjorn's Workshop was out there. Chad from Hoku Props was out there.
Right.
Everybody was out there except for me. Watching online as all this badassery happening.
You'll have to go one day. It's pretty cool.
Maybe for the foreseeable future, my travel plans for cons is C2E2 and Dragon Con.
Yeah.
I got a full-time job, plus I got a kid.
Right.
Then I got the few hours a night that I get to do prop work when I'm off of work. And if I don't have my kid that week, because if he's with his mother, then I get off work and I can work on stuff. But usually I work late on my off week, so I was like, still get 2-3 hours a night to work on stuff.
Right. Plus, cons are expensive to go to. Like,
Yes, they
you can't.
are. Hence why I roomed with 13 people at C2E2
Wow.
and 10 people at Dragon Con.
Yeah, I mean, it saves money that way.
Yeah, as long as I got somewhere to pass out after a night of drinking, I'm fine.
Yeah. I was hoping that I'd see some sort of Blizzard related costume that I'd want to make for BlizzCon this year, but I don't know. I haven't seen anything yet that has inspired me to make it. The the past 2 years I made a necromancer and the troll because the Egg Sisters were also doing a Diablo costume and a troll costume. But this year they're going to be doing a Shara, it's like this aquatic looking octopus lady squid thing from WoW. And,
Very descriptive words there, Sam.
oh yeah. All
Um,
right, you know the one. You know.
it's one
The
of those.
people out there listening, they know the one.
The thing, the thing from the thing.
They
No,
know.
God, that sounds like it's gonna be hell for them. But I'm pretty sure they'll get it done in no time.
Yeah, for sure.
Have you seen any of Zach Fisher's Project Blade stuff?
Yeah,
He's got a lot
yeah.
of cool concept art. I thought about maybe like doing one of like just the simple guard ones, but it's like I don't have that much time.
Right.
Especially
Yeah.
especially if I take this new position at or not really new position. I don't know. I got stuff happening. It's like gonna eat more time up, so it's like costumes. I don't know. I'm doing just casual costumes from here on out. I may do like I've got one big build I want to try to get done for Dragon Con, but right now it's not looking plausible at the moment. If I can get time, I'll do it. I got a Skyrim costume I want to do. It's the Skyrim Dawnguard heavy armor. It's really badass, and it's just a bunch of leatherworking and sewing. Really, I'm not good at sewing, so I'd have to pay my seamstress to do it. Then also to have to do all the leatherworking, which will require all the hand stitching because I don't have a sewing machine for leather.
Right. I'm not good at sewing either, but my wife's pretty good at sewing. So
That's a
I
plus.
rope her into doing any sewing for me or showing me how to use the sewing machine.
I've got one sitting in my room. I just don't use it. It's still in the box.
Yeah.
But yeah, just doing casual, easy stuff. Like I was talking this about Miss Madison cosplay because I got my Adam Cats from Fallout 4, and I got my Fallout 76 Greaser jacket and jeans costume. They're the same thing, just with a different jacket. One has a patch, one doesn't. So I got two of the same jacket through a patch on one, and I got two costumes in one. Then
Nice.
I'm doing a Red Dead group for Dragon Con, which is going to require me to get period accurate clothing, then make a bunch of leather belts and holsters and stuff, and like make suspenders and make spurs and make myself look like a cowboy. But I take away all that, just wear the shirt and the pants. I'm Captain Tight Pants from Firefly.
Nice.
So I was like thinking, how can I compress costumes into the same thing so I won't have as much packing? I don't know.
Right. You can save some time and money.
Hell
You just
yeah.
rope them all into one.
I'm all
I feel
about
like
that.
casual costumes are the way to go for Dragon Con anyway.
Oh yeah.
Like, it's so crowded there. You can't really bring a big costume. I mean, people do, but
Yeah.
they're having a rough time.
I did see some cool shit at Dragon Con though, I will admit that. Also, goddamn, these people at Dragon Con. It's so crazy. My friends from Wolfgar Weapons and Props brought their Warhammer 40k armor down
Yeah.
with them, and they're the Wolf Space Marine, so it's like
Right,
a bunch
yeah.
of blue armor with a bunch of fur, and Freddie Novak, Pope Wildcard, and Wolfgar. The three of them did that, and they're pretty big. I'm not gonna lie. And he's like, I don't know why they did that to themselves because they also, like me, were at it. We roomed together, me, Pope, and Wolfgar, and like 6 other people. So they walked from the hotel, which is like a quarter to half mile away, to the convention host hotels in Space Marine armor uphill. And I was like, "You guys look like you're gonna die. You're gonna die soon. I hope you feel good about that."
They knew what they were getting into.
Yes, they
They knew
did.
the consequences.
We all do. We all do. It's the suffer for your art, but instead of like, we're gonna suffer, no, you're gonna die. It's fun. I'm not gonna lie. If they would ask me to do it, I probably would have done it
Right.
because why not?
I mean, you gotta. If somebody asks you to wear some cool armor, you're gonna wear the cool armor.
Yeah, but luckily they'd already had that planned out because I ended up handling for Steve because he was in his tech priest, the same shoot. So I ran into him, the people he was with that were handling. They're like, we're gonna go to the Hyatt and we'll see you there. I'm like, cool. A few hours later, we're still in the Marriott floor because everybody wants pictures with Steve.
Abandoned by his handlers.
Luckily, I was there to save the day.
Gotta have a backup handler.
Yeah, luckily I was there because I knew he was in his tech priest. I hadn't seen him in it yet, so I was looking for him. But then I got stuck handling for him, which is fine. Steve's an awesome dude. Love hanging out.
Right.
Love hanging out with the guy. So it's like he just hand me his weapon, this giant staff thing, and he's like, take off his mask, and he just looks at me. He's like, I'm dying. I was like, you need anything, Steve? He's like, no. It's like, just let me know, man. We'll get you whatever you need.
I feel like that's always Steve in a costume. He just takes off the mask and it's just grumpy face.
No,
It's great though.
love you, Steve. I'll talk to you soon about the podcast because I want to get him on here.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Might have to do some traveling to do that. Yeah, it was. Yeah.
But speaking of handlers, shout out to the handlers.
Yeah.
'Cause I would have died in my troll if I didn't have my wife as a handler, and all the handlers of C2E2 and every con really.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah. You
what
gotta.
keeps the cosplayers going. So I feel like the handlers don't get enough recognition.
Yeah. If I ever decide to do a big build, I will require a handler. Because if I ever do a big build, it's not going to be just a big build. It's going to be, well, fuck, that was a really big build. I'm never going to do that again.
Right.
I thought about it. Throw around the idea of just coming up with some like crazy fucking armored Grim Reaper mech monster thing. Just more or less gave me an excuse to build a giant scythe. Like,
Right.
probably like 10, 12 feet long, giant scythe. And just be on like some giant platformers and this crazy thing that I would never be able to move because I'd have to take 1-inch steps at a time just to get going where I need to go.
You'd be like, well, guess I'm a statue now.
I would be a statue. Unless I just did like, what was it, the drywall stilts?
Yeah.
Though I hear those things are relatively easy to walk in. So I could do a big build, but not as bulky as I would plan. Just be really tall with a giant scythe and look menacing.
Right. Yeah.
Have a few heads hanging down somewhere. I don't know.
There are all those Reinhardt cosplayers that make it work.
God.
I don't know how they do it, but
I don't either.
somehow they're pretty maneuverable.
If I ever get a chance to talk to Chad, I'm gonna ask him because he did that.
Yeah.
I was like, what? Yeah. Was it Chad, crazy Chad, doing Reinhardt, winning TwitchCon, and everybody else started. I don't know if this was the case, but after Chad won TwitchCon with his Reinhardt, I saw everybody else doing a Reinhardt. I could be wrong on that assumption. I may be wrong. Probably most likely am. But I just feel like after I saw Chad's Reinhardt and he won, I saw like millions more.
It may have also been like at the peak of Overwatch popularity where
Yeah, everybody's
like
doing one.
everyone was. I know there was at least one other Reinhardt at TwitchCon, and the Egg Sisters had already been working on their
Yeah,
Reinhardt
yeah.
too.
I was getting ready to mention them because I know they did one, which was badass.
Yeah, they did like the Black Heart skin.
Yeah, I need to have them on. Come think about
Yeah,
it, because I didn't get a chance to talk to them very much at C2E2. I think I maybe like said one word to one of them
right.
because I saw the troll and it's like, hey, that's badass. And I don't think they knew who I was, which chances are I don't. But I want to have them on. If they would be
Yeah,
cool to
it can be
interview.
tough to it can be tough to track people down to talk to them at cons. Like
Yeah, yeah.
so busy.
Because I saw you and it was like saw your troll face, like Sam. And you're like, hey, and like talk for like 5 minutes, and like I gotta go. I was like, see you later, man.
Yeah, we put my the troll prosthetic like halfway applied, and we were like, "Oh man, we gotta go check in for the judging later." So I was like, "All right, I'll just put on a hat and a hoodie, and we'll just quickly walk there. No one will notice me. It'll be fine. And we'll come back and finish it." It's like immediately I get to the lobby, and I was like, "Oh," and I'm like, "Oh hey, we're just going to this thing. We gotta."
We gotta go. Yeah, especially it's because if you're building stuff and people recognize your shit, they're gonna stop you at a con.
Right.
Like happens. It's like
Yeah, we were hoping to get all of the prosthetics applied by I think it was like 10:15 was the check-in and we got up at I don't know 6 or something like that. I don't really remember. Um, but we kept having difficulties with the prosthetics, so it took a lot longer than expected. Like the ears alone, getting them onto my ears was a rough time. Um, I don't know why in particular this time. I think I might have when I ran the foam latex, it wasn't as dense, so it was like more marshmallowy. So it wasn't just like slipping on my ear as easy. It was like kind of like mushing when I stuck it on my ear, if that makes sense.
yeah,
Uh, and basically, the way it works with gluing on with the Pros Aid, the way we've been doing it at least, I don't know if it's the right way, but it works well enough. We just put a bunch of Pros Aid in the ear and then slip it on my ear while it's wet, and then just hold it until it dries. But if it's not going on properly, it starts to dry before it's on all the way.
oh no.
And then once it's tacky, you can't get it on because it's just sticking and gluing itself. So then you have to try to take it off and put it back on. And it
So
was a rough time, but it got there.
sounds. Hey, you had an end result. You won, so
Yeah.
you did something right. Yeah, I don't know. It's like because we had a few friends in the costume contest that did pretty good because Brittany, she won overall. Then a friend of mine, Badoni Cosplay, she won third in armor.
Yeah.
And a newer cosplayer maker friend of mine, Aegis Studios, he was on his second costume because he was the dude in the armor selection had like the giant like crescent moon lights hanging off his shoulder or sticking out of his shoulder. And he's like the giant helmet with the green
Oh, like
flame ball.
the was it like a druid armor set from WoW?
I don't know if it was from WoW, but he did a pretty damn good job. Let's see if
I
I
think
can.
I know the one you're talking about. Yeah. I
I
feel
don't
like
know
everyone.
if you can see that through the camera.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. That's a druid armor set from WoW. Yeah. That
yeah.
was cool.
He I was kind of hoping he would have placed because his first costume contest he did the Nordic armor from Elder Scrolls Online. You know the trailers, the
Okay.
Nord.
Yeah.
He that was his first costume, and he won his first costume contest with that.
Nice.
So he's going.
Right. Yeah, it was some stiff competition this year.
Yeah,
I mean,
there's
every
so
year there's
much.
great costumes, but I don't know, I felt like this year in particular, like everyone's costume was super good.
Yeah, there's a lot of good costumes this year. There's a lot of them that like really is like, holy crap, that was awesome. Because he had the dude, it was in the World Championships. He had like the angelic armor. It's like had a bunch of red and gold on it and white. It had one wing.
Right,
And
yeah.
he had the sword that lit up. And he had the shield that popped apart. And you're like, oh shit, what am I doing with myself?
Yeah, that's the one where he like got up on stage and was posing and stuff, and then just like threw his shield to the side and did some more posing with his sword.
Like I saw him do that. I was like, oh, I hope that shield's really, really durable.
I don't know. It looked cool though.
Yeah, just threw that shit down the floor, just
Yeah.
like it was nothing.
It's like, get it out of here.
And he fucking walked off and left the shield on stage.
Yeah.
Somebody ran up and grabbed it really fast.
That's a power move.
Yeah, it is. It's like, fuck that shield. Yeah, everybody did a badass job. Like, everybody who was in every category. Like, a lot of that shit was like, that's impressive. Then I saw some of it down in the lobby afterwards and was like, well, that was right. That's fucking impressive. Sorry, I feel like I'm going to sneeze, so I'm trying not to. It's the last thing I need to do in my podcast is start sneezing. Oh, yeah, it is.
I think anyone that has an interest in entering the C2E2 contest or any contest in general should apply if they have any sort of interest, because you never know who's going to be accepted or how many people are going to apply that year. But I've talked to some people that seem like they want to do it, but they're apprehensive about it, and it's like you should just go for it, you know.
And plus, I got a lot of friends, cosplayer maker friends, who do costume contest judging, and I see them as they're doing it, and it's like then I run into them as they're doing pre-judging. It's like they just look all miserable. It was like then they do costume contests and they look miserable. And I was like, I don't think I'm ever going to do that to myself.
Yeah, I mean, contests can be stressful and tiring. But I mean, it just depends if that's what you're into or not, I guess.
Yeah.
I think the stressful part comes from, well, one, being up on stage, because you got to get up on stage and pose and whatnot, and it's always like, oh, what am I gonna do up there?
Yeah, being on stage isn't really that big of a deal for me, because I used to travel and play shows with bands and shit, so I'm used to the stage thing.
Yeah.
So that would just be more or less is like, it was the thing I make worth taking on stage. That would be that would be on my end. Because I'll go up there, I'll be in a helmet, nobody knows who the fuck I am. Just make some crazy pose and yell and throw my shield on the floor and walk off.
And then they put your face up there with your cat, and everyone knows who you are.
I thought, I was thinking about it, it's like if I did apply, like I wouldn't say nothing about applying. I wouldn't say nothing about getting entered. I would just make a big ass costume, make it as badass as possible, and just go do the pre-judging thing. Then like have nobody know that I was doing it, and like all of a sudden I walk on stage and there's my big dumb face popping up, and it's like everybody's like, I did not know he was doing that, and hopefully it's badass. Just deceive all my friends.
It could work. It could happen.
Not now. It's on the internet.
Dang it.
Maybe one day.
We'll edit it out. It's fine. We'll fix that in post.
I don't edit.
Shh! Don't tell the people. They won't know.
They already know. I've already stated the fact that I don't edit my podcast because I'm just lazy, and just raw formatted conversation is honestly better than chopped up segments on a podcast. It works on different ones, but for me, I'm just going to talk for however long until I feel like the conversation's just starting to slowly dwindle away.
Yeah.
But yeah, you did a badass job, dude.
Thank you.
I was enjoyed watching the progress as you were building that troll, and seeing all the badass pictures afterwards is just makes me hate myself inside. Yeah, I'm joking. It was badass. And
yeah, it's been a lot of fun. Yeah, I think sometimes effects oriented costumes or like sculpting prosthetics and things like that can seem a bit daunting. I know to me it did. I was like, I have no idea how I'm gonna do this, but I would encourage anyone who has an interest in it to give it an attempt.
Yeah,
It
I did some sculpting. I had a commission for a movie, or not, like it was like a fan film movie. A friend of mine was gonna make, and he wanted a like samurai style Goldar armor.
okay.
So I thought like
Yeah.
making a samurai mask, but as the wolf mask, because the actor was gonna have be blue faced, and it's gonna have like a
Okay.
gold mask. And I was thinking like I'm gonna sculpt it, then I'm gonna articulate it so when he talks, it actually moves. And I accomplished that. I just never put it together to actually see if it does move when you talk. But I threw it on my face and I started talking, and it was moving, so I knew it was gonna work.
That's cool.
And I sculpted it all out of monster clay and did a bunch of detailing on it, and it's like the first thing I sculpted in forever. I was like, this is fun. I should do this more. Then I was like, it's like, yeah, I'll do some more sculpting, and I never sculpted anything ever again. I had no need to, because like I do a lot of foam fabrication and like scratch builds with like known materials, and now that I got my 3D printer going, I'm never gonna fabricate
Right.
anything else ever again besides certain things.
Right. I primarily work with foam too, but I feel like sculpting gives a different,
There's
it's like a different way to create.
yeah,
It just gives a different feeling.
there's so much detail you can get into sculpting too, just so much.
Yeah.
And also, if you're like doing prosthetics, you can always there's a ton of Stan Winston school videos on sculpting faces or skin textures and this and that. Because I know I've watched all of them.
Yeah, the a lot of the courses are, I mean, I haven't seen all the courses, but the ones I have seen are really good and informative.
Yeah,
There's even some free stuff you can find on YouTube
yeah,
that's helpful.
they got the Stan Winston YouTube channel, which there's a lot of stuff up in there, like little short stuff, and it's worth watching if you're definitely wanting into sculpting.
Yeah, well, I mean even just like from just individual people uploading stuff on YouTube that
Oh,
of how to sculpt things
there's
or whatnot.
ungodly amounts of stuff to watch about
Right,
that on YouTube,
right.
because I've watched a lot of it. Because usually before I build something, before I start working on something, I'll do a ton of research on it. Because when I was doing that mask I was sculpting, I did a ton of sculpting research. So I was like, I couldn't even tell you how many videos I watched on different sculpting techniques, but I know there's over 100.
Right. It's always good to know what you're getting into before you go for it.
Or if you have a friend who's a sculptor, like I do, like because I do leather working, I got several friends who are leather workers. So I was like, if you have a friend who's a sculptor, you want to get into that, ask your friends.
Right, that
But
helps
that
too.
but that goes with everything though. If you got a friend who does foam fab or leather working or scratch builds like Harrison does, or matrix molding like Harrison does.
Right. Yeah, like I mean, I know, or at least am acquainted with a lot of different people in the cosplay community that know a lot of different things, but I
Yeah,
never want to message anyone about anything because I'm like, oh, I don't want to bother them. I don't want to.
yeah,
I'll just figure it out. It'll be fine. I'll make it work.
yeah. I got a few people that I could send messages to. You know, it's like, hey, like I'm trying to do this thing's not working. What would you do? But then again, I got people who do that to me too. So it's like, just like, and just if you got a friend who's a maker who does something way better than you do, be like, hey, how do you do this? I need to know.
Right. I think most people in the cosplay and maker community are willing to provide advice and help people
Yeah,
out.
yeah. It's like,
So,
because if somebody asks me if I don't know, I know somebody who does.
right. So the lesson here, don't be like me. Message somebody if you want to talk to them about things.
Yeah.
Uh,
Or message me and I'll send you in the right direction if I don't know. Just tell them DLC sent you so I can get that angry message later. Like, why are you sending people to me to ask questions? Just like because they want to know. Just you know and I don't.
Yeah, if anyone ever wants to ask me questions about the troll or anything, I'm always up for
Yeah,
answering questions. So
yeah, yeah. What did you coat that with? Did you use what was that shit called?
the muscle suit
Yeah,
and
what'd you coat it in? It was like
uh
a neoprene rubber.
yeah, it was creature cast
Oh,
rubber.
creature
It's
cash.
like
Okay,
a
that's what I was
but
thinking of.
yeah, I think it's like a neoprene
Yeah,
rubber. Um, it worked pretty well for that. I'd only used it on EVA foam before that, but I did quite a few tests on the fabric I was using before I sprayed down the muscle suit.
yeah,
So over top of the foam muscles, I went with like this stretch faux suede fabric because it has like a fuzziness to it, like suede. And that seemed to give a better texture with uh, the rubber over top of it, kind of like a rough, not quite fuzzy, but just like a texture that I liked better than just plain spandex or other fabrics. So
yeah,
that took forever to glue on the muscles because you have to like form it into all the muscles
yeah.
and we didn't know what we were doing. My wife helped me a lot on that because when you have like this giant piece of cloth with glue all over it and you're trying to stick it to a person-shaped thing, it's like I can't do this on my own. I'm gonna glue the fabric to itself or glue
Uh,
all this body form to itself. That was a mess, but
yeah,
it got there.
yeah. Don't glue yourself to yourself. It's never a fun day when that happens.
Oh no. And then yeah, to put the creature cast rubber on the muscle suit, I found the best way was for me at least was to spray it through a critter gun.
Yeah, it's usually a good way, or brushing. It's either or. Like I know people. My friend HDC Fabrication, he did a Saiyan armor out of EVA
Yeah.
foam, and he just brushed the creature cast on that.
Yeah, that works as well. For the muscle suit, it seemed like brushing it saturated the foam more because like the upholstery foam's a bit more porous.
Yeah,
It seemed like it would saturate it a bit more when I did tests, and it would make it a little bit stiffer. But spraying it on seemed to just like lay it over the top of the surface. So
yeah. With
yeah,
at least with the critter gun, you get a nice even layer across the whole thing.
right. Plus it was during the summer, so I could just like put on like multiple coats without waiting in between because by the time I got done spraying it, what I had like if by the time I got done with the back, the front had already dried basically, so I
Yeah,
could just go back and I just put on
yeah.
like 6 or 7 coats all at once.
So, do you have a big obvious zipper on the back?
Yeah, there's a pretty big zipper on the back. We tried to do an invisible zipper to start with, but the invisible zipper we had, or all invisible zippers, I think. I don't know how zippers work. My wife helps me with that. Or we couldn't find one long enough. Anyway, the invisible zipper we had didn't zip all the way down to the bottom.
Oh no,
It was like, 3/4 the length of my torso.
oh, that's not good.
So the bottom fourth I'd have to slip over my body and wedge into, and it was quite a hassle.
I can
Um,
imagine.
anyway, I tried to do it. And then with test fitting, this was after it had been painted and everything. With test fitting and stuff, we found that during the summer, at least, during some really hot days, that it seemed to be a safety issue getting out of it
Oh
if
no.
need be. Because there was a time when we were test fitting it to put armor on it, and I was like, I'm way too hot. I think I'm gonna throw up. We gotta take this off. And it was like, oh no, I'm stuck in this now because I have to like
Oh, that's
wiggle
gross.
it off my body in
Oh
some
no.
manner. So we cut out that zipper and
Uh,
just got a big plastic zipper of some sort,
ah,
just one that like separates at the bottom. And
yeah.
and since it was put in at the end, it couldn't be sewn in super cleanly or anything because it's got rubber and junk all over it already. So just don't look at the back. It's fine. Just, but it painted pretty well. We got one that was roughly the color of
That
the blue
works.
that I was going to use, and then with paint over it, it's not super noticeable. But yeah, it wasn't the ideal way to put a zipper in your creature suit.
Would have fit in a Star Trek very nicely.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I'm gonna really badly segue into this, but you know, everybody has their start on making whatever it is the hell they're making. What drove you to start making props and costumes?
Uh, it was actually another blue creature of sorts. For
Sensing
Halloween one
sensing a
year,
pattern here.
right? For Halloween one year in college, my wife, girlfriend at the time, and I wanted Halloween costumes. So I wanted to be Nightcrawler, and she was going to be Poison Ivy. So that's how we made our first costumes. I didn't really do a whole lot of the making on that because Nightcrawler's outfit is mostly sewn. I made the tail, and she sewed the red bits of his costume on while I was wearing it because we didn't know how to make costumes. It was like, all right, you just wear this because it's spandex. Like I wore like a compression shirt and compression pants, and she just sewed like some red spandex over it for because he has like that V pattern
Yeah.
down his chest. I have a Nightcrawler action figure here. That's
Oh.
what he looks like.
Oh, I forgot about
So,
your toy thing you got
yeah,
going.
just action figures everywhere. There are a lot on my desk.
I forgot about that. I forgot that you have a collection of action figures. How did
Yes,
I not remember this?
it's
We're gonna talk about
yep.
this here in a minute.
Okay. Anyway, so the Nightcrawler costume, I think the suit itself was pretty okay. The makeup and ears and stuff, awful. Just awful. just just like the cheapest craft paint of some sort. It wasn't even Halloween paint because we started on it like before Halloween. We just like went to the craft store and it was like, this is face paint. And it was just like this flaky, non-breathable, just acrylic paint of some sort. It was
No,
awful.
sounds like it.
And then eventually we got the face paint looking okay. We invested in like some alcohol paint or something.
There
It
you
went to a con and I saw actual costumes there. It was like, oh, I could make these. Okay, I get it.
go. Yeah, it's like
And
that's a thing.
yeah, we went to like a panel on how to make costumes, and I think I know Night Mage was there. I don't remember who else was on the panel, but Night Mage for sure. And he talked about EVA foam and making things out of that. And I was like, all right, cool. I'm gonna do that. And then I went home and started on an Agent Venom costume, and I still have that, like the chest piece for it. So
That's awesome. I was
yeah,
watching Into the Spider Verse last night. I was like, it's like I'm too big to be Spider Man, but I'd sure like to build something from Spider Man.
yeah, that movie's super good.
I could pull off an Agent Venom. I got that build. Just have
Right.
to be super menacing looking.
I still want a Spider-Man costume, but like I want to get like a super nice one, but they're really expensive. It's like I don't trust myself to make my own Spider-Man costume. I don't know how to sew.
Yeah, I've seen a few online, really nice ones that pop up for sale, and like they're a pretty penny.
Yeah,
Especially you get those ones they cast out the rubber webs, and they glue the rubber on top of the
right,
fabric, and like it looks really nice.
right. One day, maybe.
One day.
I stop spending money on these action figures.
Oh man. Yeah, it seems like a lot of like some of my friends who were like, yeah, I did a costume in college once at a party, then I went to a con, and it's like, oh, that's a thing. I'm gonna do this now. It's
Halloween is the gateway drug into cosplay.
yes, it is that and college parties. I would know. I didn't go to college. Yeah, I got a Doctor Sci-Fi. When I interviewed him, he told me basically the same thing. He did a cardboard RoboCop costume at a college Halloween party.
Nice.
It's like that's basically what we got started. I wanted to like I always wonder because I'm big on revisiting stuff. I always update costumes because I obsess over them for a while, and then until
Right.
they're done. And I was like, "You ever gonna, go back and try to make another RoboCop costume?" He's like, "No."
I would like to one day make another Nightcrawler costume. 'Cause Nightcrawler's my favorite superhero, so that would be cool. I think.
You'd have it would be a good revisit, considering college level 0 to what you're at now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would.
Yeah.
There's my very first costume. I did like a steampunk style doctor from Doctor Who,
Right. Yeah.
and it's like total thrift shop costume. That was fucking pants, like dirty tan shirt and a tweed jacket with the sonic screwdriver. And it's like saw these other costumes. It's like, oh, I need to do that too. And it's like, oh, I want to build nice costumes. And nowadays, it's like, no, I'm not going to build nice costumes because I don't want to kill myself. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you got your first blue costume, you got your latest blue costume, and you're going to need to do a third blue costume just to sum it all up.
Yeah, he could be the Abe Sapien. He's blue.
Third time's the charm, man. And this definitely would be a good costume to do because that would require some sculpting, but also a lot of fabrication because he's got that thing on his or that breathing apparatus on his shoulders and
Right. Well, the new Hellboy movie's coming out this weekend, so maybe there'll be a Ape Sapien appearance there,
I don't.
or it'll be awful and kill any interest in ever making it.
I don't think there's going to be an Abe Sapien in this new one.
Yeah.
But it does look badass.
Yeah, I'm excited for it.
Yeah, I don't really go to movies. I don't like paying money to do that because it's just so stupid expensive.
I don't like paying money for that.
I'm probably gonna wait till it comes out online for free,
Yeah.
or unless somebody's like, "Hey, let's go see Hellboy," but all my friends live everywhere else, so it's probably not gonna happen.
Yeah, a lot of times we'll just wait till movies come out on like Amazon or something, where it's like
Yeah.
$5 to rent it. But
Yeah,
well,
it's
we
like,
help for sure.
yeah, I was like, "Oh, it's up for rent on Comcast. It's $13. I'll do that instead of paying $23 for a ticket, then $10 for a soda, and another $7 for some popcorn."
$23.
Yeah,
Tickets are expensive.
tickets are expensive out here. Yeah.
Wow.
It's like I'm in Indiana, and like I'm in a major city, so like movie tickets are expensive. It's like that's like date money if I ever decide to start dating anybody again. It's like, you want to go to dinner movie? Okay. Hopefully there's something good out. When it's like nothing's good out, it's like, oh, let's go to dinner. Fuck it.
Yeah, I'm in West Virginia, so ticket prices aren't quite that high. So that's good.
Lucky you. Oh, you're West Virginia. Have you played Fallout 76 at all?
No,
No.
I haven't.
Yeah, I haven't played it recently because I play with Dragon Con people, and 2 of them are in Japan, so our group's not playing right
Wow.
now. So.
I haven't played a ton of different games lately. I've mostly just been playing Rainbow Six Siege with some friends. That's been a lot of fun. But other than that, like, I mean, there are games I want to buy and play, but it's like, by the time I get a game, I start on a costume, and then I don't play anything anymore because I'm just working on a costume. So now it's like, why even buy a game? I'll just wait.
Yeah, well, you do find yourself some free time to play a game. The Witcher 3 is really good.
I have it. I got not very far into it and then started a costume.
Hey, there you go. You can build a costume from The Witcher. It would be around your wheelhouse, but it would require some sewing. Unless you, there you go. Here's a blue thing you can do. One of the creatures from The Witcher 3, like one of the little water creatures that hang out around the rivers, the kind of like skinny murlocs. You can do
Okay.
one of those. You'd have to emphasize what it is and where it's from because they're not really recognizable. They're just a standard monster, but that would be a fun little build. That would be all sculpting. Giant sculpted bodysuit. You'd probably have to cast in latex and baby powder yourself in there.
Show up at the con, people are like, "Is that a skinny Murloc?" And I'm like, "Hey, man, that's just my face. That's hurtful."
Yeah, Witcher 3 is really good. I'm playing Red Dead again right now because I'm going to be doing the costume. So I'm doing work research. And I heard Detroit Becoming Human is really good. Dragon Con, Anna Folkenstall Armory. Shout to the shirt I'm wearing right now. Her and her, I think it's her husband. I could be wrong. They did Detroit Becoming Human costumes, which is an easy walk around. And got Cyberpunk 2077 coming out.
Yeah, that one looks super cool.
We did a group at C2E2. Then a few other games. Any Fallout games, really good. I'm trying to talk Steve into doing a Fallout build because I know he'd do something huge and crazy. And it's like it'd be perfect, but I don't think it's gonna happen.
Yeah. It's...
Well, to not make myself sound like a complete dumbass, but my laptop is dying and I did not bring my charger into my shop.
Ruh-roh.
Yeah. Well, we'll talk about your action figures next time.
Okay.
Or just go watch any Prop Life episode with Sam on there, and he'll be showing off his action figures.
We gotta leave the people wanting more.
Yeah. Well, they're not gonna be able to see it anyway. This is only an audio podcast. But yeah, man, appreciate you coming on, and maybe if I ever do another podcast that's not, this one, have you back on. We'll talk about just random bullshit. It'd be easier than what we already did.
Thank you for having me.
But yeah, where can people find you?
Bio Cosplay on all the social medias. So
We'll have all that linked down below. Hey, luckily I didn't go off on a tangent this time. That was good. I feel better about myself.
Yeah. It was fun. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah. But yeah, one little quick thing before it does die. You have any quick advice for anybody who wants to get into making?
I mean, I think if anyone wants to get into making, that they should just try it. It doesn't have to be stuff like, leatherworking or doing life casts or prosthetics or things like that. You can just start out with like some EVA foam from the craft store and some hot glue just to get into it, and then see what sort of things you like making.
Yeah.
Like I think the hardest part of getting into it is just starting, and then once you're in, then you're kind of hooked and want to make more things. So
Yeah, foam's a great starter. It's one of the things I started out with. And also, if you get good at using foam, you can always, if you want to invest more into it, you can buy foam from TNT Cosplay Supply or HD foam from my buddy SKS Props.
right, there's all sorts of foam suppliers now.
Yeah. We got
No longer are we bound to the Harbor Freight foam where it's like,
no
oh,
longer.
I hope this is a good pack.
I know the struggle.
You open it, it's just got giant pockets in it, like, not again.
Just switch out new floor mats for the floor mats you already got on the floor. All right, guys. If you thanks for listening to episode 9 of the Origin of the Maker podcast with Bio Cosplay. Definitely go check out his awesome work. If you are a maker and you make whatever, doesn't matter if you make costumes and props like Sam and me, or you make shit, if you make bowls, I'll talk to you about it. Or if you're a blacksmith, or you do sewing, or you make blankets, or you make that tiny little thing that's required for certain things to work, but nobody knows about it, but you do. I'll talk to you about it. But thanks so very much, guys. I will catch you all later. We'll see you in the next episode with another friend of mine. Bye, everybody.
Bye.